This is Picks on Politics.
And welcome to Picks on Politics, everybody. I'm Dan Manarino, and a big show for you today. As we head into the week of Thanksgiving and the holiday season in New York, we want to address the deeply troubling attacks happening in the city, especially the 3 people killed in a stabbing spree. The horrifying incidents putting pressure now on the city to address the mental health crisis. Councilman Eric Bottcher here to talk to us about that. And we're also closely following the developments in congestion pricing, right? The MTA board approving the revised, less expensive plan. But the legal fights, well, they are not over. So later on, our Picks panel will take a deeper dive into this issue. But first, strong opposer to congestion pricing plan and newly announced candidate for New Jersey Governor, Josh Gottheimer, going on the record. All right, and Congressman Gottheimer is joining me now. So, Congressman, great to have you back on Picks on Politics. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So, Congressman, we'll get to congestion pricing and all that conversation in just a moment, but I do want to begin with your run for governor, since I have asked you this at least a dozen times over the past year and a half, and here we are, right?
I'm running, man. I'm running.
Finally announced it. So we've seen, as you know, a real shift to the right, in this past election. Even in some of New Jersey's bluest areas, there were significantly more Republican votes than prior elections. So as you now enter this statewide race, how does that change, if at all, your messaging and making sure that your fellow Democrats and their concerns are being heard as you enter this race?
Well, you know, we've been talking about this a long time in terms of what I've been focused on and gotten done in Washington over the years. And for me, it's always been about making sure we do everything to make life more affordable for folks. You know, I've been talking about doing everything we can to lower taxes and lower costs, which is why I'm running as a lower taxes, lower cost governor. So for me, I think what we heard is loud and clear of what, and I literally just got off part of my diner tour. I've been now to 9 counties, 21 diners everywhere. And what I'm hearing loud and clear from everybody is, like, our costs are just too high in Jersey. And, you know, between food and childcare and rent and utility bills and, of course, taxes, we got to get the costs down so that people can afford to live and work and raise a family in Jersey. That's my number 1 focus. Always has been my top focus and will continue to be as governor.
Okay, so let's zero in on that for a second, right? Because that's pretty. A lot of topics all in one, right? There's taxes, and then there's obviously the cost of everything else. Let's start with taxes. Some of the highest in the country, property taxes. Do you pledge, if you were to win as governor, that you would lower taxes, and how would you do it?
I mean, I've always said we've got to lower our taxes, and you start, listen, the most important way, besides obviously cutting bureaucracy and getting more money back from Washington to Jersey instead of it going to the other states, which we've not done a great job historically on as a state, you know, for things like infrastructure, police, and firefighters. What we got to do is grow. We need more jobs, good paying jobs coming to Jersey. You know, we've lost 300,000 people over the last couple of years. We're the 4th most expensive state in the country, some of the highest costs, you know, highest property taxes in the nation. That's unacceptable, right? And it's too expensive for people to rent or buy a home or to stay in Jersey when they leave school or retire.
Yeah, a lot of people want to, right?
Go after the cost, but you gotta bring jobs in. That's the way you grow and have more revenue, obviously, to do more things.
A lot of people want to, right? They want to lower taxes, but can you?
Yeah, though, that's how you do it.
Okay.
You grow. Right. I mean, that is the key. If you look at other states in the country, the way they've been able to lower costs for people, lower taxes, besides going after and, you know, cutting the red tape and fixing up some aspects of government, is actually growing, right? Bringing more jobs in. We've got a great history in New Jersey. We've got so much going for us, right? Great schools, and obviously not just the best pizza and bagels, but also, you know, and beaches and all the things that we love about it.
Yeah.
But we're well situated. We've got such a well-trained workforce. It just makes sense. But listen, our taxes are higher now than Connecticut and Massachusetts and Pennsylvania than our neighbors.
Yeah.
That just makes no sense, right? We've got, but the only way you're going to do it is grow. You can't tax people more. You actually have to make sure you get more good-paying jobs in for more people, and that's the best way to do it. And right, and make it easier to start a small business and to raise a family. That will get you growth, and that gets you lower taxes. That is the.
Do you think your messaging is different from your fellow Democrats? It's a crowded field already, and this race is a year away, right? So your fellow partner in Congress, Mikey Sherrill, just announced, and you have others in the Democratic side of things. Is your message different than theirs?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm running as the lower taxes, lower cost governor. No one's trying to speak loudly. No one has a record like I do as a problem solver, as you know, someone who works with both sides, always have, fights for Jersey and gets things done. I mean, my record, I get stuff done that no one thought we could get done, like on gun safety or getting the infrastructure bill done, which I helped write and negotiate. And that's kind of the point, right? We all share a lot of the same values when fighting to protect reproductive freedom and standing up for clean air and clean water and common sense gun safety reforms. The difference is not only am I running as the lower taxes, lower cost governor, but I'm someone who's shown that I can be a true problem solver to get things done and stand up when we need to.
So you're talking about some of these prices, right, and some of the things, the lower tax, everything else. And when you look at things, if you're governor, you would be in charge of some of the things like New Jersey Transit. Prices went up. Tolls on the Turnpike and the Parkway, they are going up. Riders and drivers feel like they're getting squeezed. I'll get to congestion pricing, but what's the answer on the local issue?
And the transit system's, largely a mess, right? A lot of delay, people very frustrated. But no, we haven't. So when you don't invest consistently, what happens is more things break. Right, and then it ends up costing you more in the back end, right? If you don't fix your roof when it's sunny outside, right? The rain comes right through when it's raining. So we've got to do much better on New Jersey Transit if you're going to want to have a competitive economy like we need to. But you also have to then fight it when New York, to your point, tries to whack hardworking Jersey families, right? Like nurses and Uber drivers and restaurant workers and electricians when they turn around and try to hit us with this congestion tax, $9 a day just to drive into New York on top of what people are paying on tolls already and parking and gas, right? So it's insane.
So you just went there, right? So let's go there now. The MTA board approving the toll, $9 for cars coming in south of 60th Street. No surprise you've been very vocal about this. You have been for quite some time. And even so, teaming up with Republicans on the congressional side of things to make sure that this does not move forward. At this point, though, it seems like it's moving in the direction of happening. So is there anything you can do as a congressman to halt it?
So first of all, I stopped it once. We'll stop it again. You're going to see a lot of the litigation that stopped come back into play. We have several bills that I've written to the Speaker. They're bipartisan bills with New York members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans, that have said New York can't get federal money if they're going to keep hitting people with new taxes like this congestion tax. They can't also double dip and get federal money. And I've asked for a full review from the Department of Transportation, the U.S. Department of Transportation, a 60-day review, because what New York has proposed now, this new idea, is different than their other idea they proposed. They've made changes, and by statute, there should be a full Department of Transportation review, and that's what I've asked for at least 60 days for a comment period to hear from experts, to hear from families about how this is going to lead to cancer-causing pollution in northern New Jersey, how it's going to hurt their pocketbooks and change patterns. I believe we get this delay, and I don't think the next administration is very favorable to this.
Well, you're talking about President Trump, President-elect Trump, right, who has said he does not like this either. So is that what you're trying to do? Are you tactically trying to delay it until it gets into his hands?
Well, I just think what I'm tactically doing is saying this should not be a Democrat or Republican issue. This should be reviewed properly by the Department of Transportation, and the time should be allowed for this. Listen, New York wants to just get this done now and jam it through and hurt hardworking families. $2,300 a day a year. That's $2,300 a year. $9 a day extra. Right? People can't afford this right now. And if the election made anything clear, is that people need costs to go down. You don't turn around and say, we're going to hit you with a new tax. It's already too expensive to commute every day or to go see a friend or family in New York. The idea that they want to stick to us, and not a dime goes to New Jersey. Nothing for mass transit in New Jersey. Nothing except to fix the MTA's mess, which they've created over years by not even making people pay to ride their services, right? They lost $700 million last year to fare skippers. People don't pay to ride. So just my overall point is, instead of turning around and looking to other people to solve your problems, like New York is trying to do, they should deal with their own problems and not stick it to hardworking Jersey families.
Okay, to be continued for sure. It's going to be a long road to primary day. We'll talk to you along the way, but thank you for making this one of your stops. Okay, great to see you, Congressman.
Take care. See you, man.
All right, everybody, still to come. Our congestion pricing conversation continues in our picks panel. What we can expect from the legal fight coming to a head just weeks before the start date. But first, safety concerns right here in New York City. After a series of stabbings and slashings, New Yorkers and tourists on edge, especially as we head into the most crowded season in the city. Councilman Eric Botcher joining me next. We'll be right back.